What's the difference between obsessive compulsive personality disorder and obsessive compulsive disorder? That's what I'm going to be talking about in this video. I'm Dr. Tracey Marks, a psychiatrist, and I produce videos weekly on mental health education and self-improvement. If you don't want to miss a video, click subscribe and notifications. Personality disorders are your hardwiring, and anxiety disorders like obsessive compulsive disorder are like an overlay on top of your personality. Because personality disorders are part of how you're wired, usually people don't seek help to change their personality. Personality disorders cause problems for the other people around you, but not for the person with the personality. And this is in stark contrast to anxiety disorders that cause a lot of distress for the person affected. So let's look at the differences between the two disorders. An easy way to think about obsessive compulsive personality disorder is to think about the perfectionist. And this goes beyond just wanting to do things just right. It's an overfocus on minor details at the expense of seeing the bigger picture. Let's look at the criteria, and I'm taking this from our Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, 5th edition. Obsessive Compulsive Personality Disorder, or OCPD, is a pattern of preoccupation with orderliness, perfectionism, and interpersonal control at the expense of flexibility, openness, and efficiency, beginning in early adulthood and present in a variety of contexts, as indicated by 4 or more of the following. Take a breath. Here we go. I'm going to list 8 things. Preoccupation with details, rules, lists, order, organization, or schedules to the extent that the major point of the activity is lost. 2, perfectionism that interferes with task completion. So you may have trouble completing projects because you're just not happy with something that you're doing. 3 is excessively devoted to work and productivity to the exclusion of leisure activities and friendships. 4 is over-conscientious, scrupulous, and inflexible about matters of morality, ethics, or values. Number 5 is unable to discard worn-out or worthless objects even when they have no sentimental value. So this is not wanting to hold on to your grandmother's picture frame. This is you just can't let go of stuff in general. Number 6 is reluctant to delegate tasks or to work with others unless they submit to exactly his or her way of doing things. Number 7 adopts a miserly spending style toward both self and others. Money is viewed as something to be hoarded for future catastrophes. Notice this says miserly, which is probably the most appropriate term. A less tactful way of putting that people will say is cheap. Another big deal with it is that, because it's one thing if that's just how you live your life, but this person imposes that on other people as well. And the last one, number 8, shows rigidity and stubbornness. By the way, people can have features of the disorder without having the full disorder. So you can have compulsive tendencies, but not to the degree that it's a disorder. Some people will say that they're anal, but it's something that they can turn off and on when necessary for the sake of getting along with people. So even though they may be anal, they're more flexible in their ability to just let it go when they need to. On the other hand, obsessive compulsive disorder, or OCD, causes a lot of anxiety. People will have obsessions or compulsions or both. Obsessions are thoughts or urges or images that you can't get out of your head. And the thoughts are intrusive. You may have had the experience of hearing someone whistle a tune in the background, and then all day long you can't get that song out of your head. That's similar, but with that you're usually able to distract yourself from the tune if you need to. With OCD, the person experiences the obsession as intrusive, and it can just pop into their heads when they don't want it to, and they can't just turn it off just like that. The second part of this is the compulsions, and the compulsions are rituals that take away the anxiety. So some examples are hand washing and checking things and counting. Sometimes you may notice that if you get tense or if you're under pressure, you may have a tendency to do some of these things, like checking to make sure you've locked your car or closed down your garage door. And you can have some of these tendencies, but with OCD, these are compulsions that are time-consuming and they cause problems. So a person with OCD can be late to work every day because they take an hour to get out of the door because they're checking the oven over and over again. Or you need to get up 2 hours early in the morning because of a counting ritual or because you need to spend 2 hours in the shower. With OCD, you can have obsessions or compulsions or both. And this person can be inflexible and rigid like the person with OCPD, but it's because of their anxiety. They need to avoid stepping on cracks or they got to have things done in a certain order because they're driven by anxiety. The person with OCD will see someone for treatment because of the anxiety that their problem causes or the distress that they have about the obsessional thoughts. The treatment is either anxiety medication or therapy, or a combination of both. In contrast, the person with OCPD is usually fine the way that they are. Or if they come to treatment, it's because someone important in their lives gave them an ultimatum: change or else. But the treatment under these conditions is tough because it's hard for someone to benefit from treatment if they don't see the need for treatment. You can't make major changes to your personality because someone else said that you need to do that. You've got to do it because you're owning the problem. You can't just do it because you want to shut someone up or save your marriage. So that's the difference between two disorders that have very similar names but are actually very different. Like this video if you like it and share it too with someone who could use it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
I did it my way, nothing y'all can say. In this life or the next